We're ready when you are.
Righty. All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Erin Hunt with the Colorado River Valley Chamber of Commerce. Let's get started with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. On behalf of the Chamber, I want to thank each of you for joining us tonight for this Mayor and Town Council Candidate Forum. Community conversations like this are such an important part of a healthy local democracy, and we're grateful to see so many residents taking the time to be here and learn more about the candidates seeking to serve the town of Parachute. I'd also like to extend a sincere thank you to our candidates for participating this evening and for their willingness to step forward and serve the community. Running for local office requires time, dedication, and a genuine commitment to the future of your town. And we appreciate each of you being here tonight. We're also grateful to the town of Parachute for allowing us to host the forum here at Town Hall this evening, and to everyone who helped organize and support this event. Thank you all. The goal of tonight's forum is simple: to provide voters with an opportunity to hear directly from the candidates about their perspectives, priorities, and ideas for the future of Parachute. The Chamber does not endorse candidates, but we strongly support opportunities like this that encourage informed and engaged voters. Tonight's program will begin with opening statements from the candidates, followed by moderated questions and an opportunity for audience questions later this evening. At this time, I'd like to introduce our moderator for the evening, Ron Milhorn, who will walk us through the format, timing, and guidelines for tonight's forum. Ron, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Always look forward to. I've been asked to do this for many forums across the valley, and it's always an honor. I always appreciate being able to do this. Each candidate will receive 2 minutes for an opening statement. Mayor candidates Tom Rugard and Levi Williamson, council candidates Artemio Baltazar and David Blair. For each question, candidates receive 90 seconds to respond, in the order will rotate for the sake of fairness. We'll also have an audience Q&A, where questions are limited to 45 seconds. So if anyone in the audience wishes to ask a question, don't make a statement, just ask the question, get to the point, and indicate which candidate you're addressing it to. Candidates may receive up to 2 minutes per response. Questions must be respectful and issue focused. That's a big one. The moderator may direct or limit questions as needed. We'll have closing comments, and you'll have 90 seconds to present a closing statement. So we will begin now. Start with mayor candidates. Tom Rugard, opening statement, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, citizens and Chamber, for putting this all on. And I am Tom Rugard. I'm the current mayor of Parachute. This is the end of my first term. I spent 12 years before that on council. So I've been part of the Parachute Council for quite a while. I've been in the community since 2003, where I've worked for Schwann's Ice Cream for a couple of those years, and then I've been with Mountaineer Mechanical out of Rifle for the last 18 years. So I've been in Colorado for 34 years, and with Schwann's or Mountaineer Mechanical all those 34 years. So I don't job jump very often, put it that way. But I've also belonged to Faith Journey Church here in town. I've been a member there since 2004, and I've coached wrestling, baseball, and football most of the years I've been here. Over the last 7-8 years, I've just strictly focused on wrestling. So started a private club in 19, and also coach at the middle school and high school. And the club, we have kids from 4 years old all the way through. You even have college kids come back and wrestle with us. So it's a lot of fun. It takes me all over the Western United States doing that through the year. So have a lot of fun. In fact, I'm missing the middle school wrestling Basalt tonight up in Basalt. So hopefully the boys and girls are doing well up there. So thank you.
2 minutes.
So good evening, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Happy to see so many people show up for this. So my name is Levi Williamson. I'm proud to be a member of this community. I wasn't born here, but I was raised here. I've been here since I was 6 years old, and I've been to every school here, B Underwood down to the high school. And I would say Parachute's a community of hardworking people, strong families and neighbors who care about each other. And I decided to run for mayor. I'm primarily interested. I joined the Army after high school, and that has been the past 5 years of my life. So to me, I did a service for the country, and now I'm ready to do a service for my community. And I believe that good leaders create good teams. Good teams provide solutions to any of the issues that we could ever have. And I'm going to, hopefully, if I secure the position of the mayor, go by the principles of transparency, trust, and cooperation. That's me.
Council candidates, Artemio Baltazar, 2 minutes.
All right, so hi, my name's Artemio Baltazar. I've been here, living here since 2008. I'm a transplant from North Carolina, so been here local, been in Parachute my whole life, and so I really do love living here, and went to Grand Valley, graduated there. And now I am teaching in the same school district I graduated from. So first grade teacher. Been doing that since here in Parachute since 2015, but I've been in the education system since 2012. So it's been really great seeing and being proactive in my community. So I just want to make sure that, with this seat, I stay proactive and engage in my community as well. And just being part of this town and seeing it develop, it has been such a great pleasure to me and everything, just to see where we started, to see where we're at now from 2008 to 2026 has been a wonderful experience for me. And this is my place where I call home now, and I don't think I would ever go anywhere else besides Parachute. So I just want to thank the chambers, for doing this as well, and anybody and everybody who is here. So thank you.
2 minutes.
Good evening. My name is David Blair. I'm the former fire chief here in Parachute. I spent 40 years in public service as a firefighter, volunteer, and then I worked my way up paramedic, and then I was fire chief for 26 years. I've worked with several boards, so I know how important it is to have a good board to make a functioning operation work well. And I always told the town that I was interested in public service here, but it was a conflict with my other job. And it wasn't 2 weeks after I finally retired that they were on me. So I did put in a letter of interest, and now I'm up for re-election. My wife and I, we moved to Parachute about 40 years ago. We bought our house on 4th Street. It was during the oil shale bust days when the banks were holding a whole bunch of notes around town, and we bought a house, and we've been in the same house for 40 some years now. We raised our kids here. And we're raising some grandkids here. So we're committed with Parachute. I believe in public service, and that's why I'm running again this year.
We'll begin with questions for the mayoral candidates. And we'll start with Tom. As mayor, how would you help the council decide what should come first when money and time are limited?
When money and time are limited? That's a good question. We've had those battles before. In 2012, I believe our sales tax revenue was about 25% of normal when the oil and gas was pulling out. So it was kind of creative. A lot of positions got melted together at that time. So luckily, we've had great town administrators that help us through those times as well, that always had a good conservative budget and stuck to that. So a lot of it is, you know, as a councilman or mayor, the big thing is your priority jobs are, for one, keeping the people safe, and then two is protecting their money, right? So the sales tax is where we generate most of our money, so it's doing the best with those funds that when we get them in. So, but a lot of it is just, you know, spending the money, trying to spend it the right way and not doing, you know, weird things with it. So.
Yeah, I guess my answer would lean a little bit more towards what he just said. Just making sure that our people are safe, looking at what is the priorities, what kind of things do we need to set our focus on first, and finding the most expedient way to handle that if we're under a time crunch. So obviously that takes a lot of consulting between myself and the council here, and some community feedback as well, and just making sure that we're being transparent with them so that anything that we do decide to do, they're keeping track of as well. Mhm.
To help make town government more understandable and accessible to everyday residents.
Yeah, actually, this is a really good question. So I like the website that we have right now. I do think that could probably use a little bit of a revamp, just so that people, when they have general inquiries about what's going on in the town, it's a little bit more accessible for them and a little bit easier for them to find the answers that they're looking for. And also just making sure that we're just overtly public about every decision that we have, that every little thing that we do is put out on social media, that we print it and put it on local town bulletin boards. We have a lot of older people in our community that aren't necessarily on social media. So just making sure that everybody is in the know at all times.
That's a good question. It's crazy. So over 16 years, there's been a couple of hot button tickets where this is standing room only in this little room. And then 90% of the time, it's staff and council in here. So you do what you can, you publicize everything. All our meetings are live. They can get in and get on Zoom. Everything is recorded. But unless you get to a button topic, a lot of times people, as long as you're not doing anything crazy out there, you know, they don't pay attention a whole lot. So a lot of it is just doing the right thing even when people aren't really watching you. So taking care of the people's money, keeping them safe, and then just doing business as usual. So we've done a lot of great things in this community, and a lot of that's due to a staff that's committed to working hard for this town and doing the right thing as well. So a lot of it is doing the right thing when not everybody's watching. So, but again, there's a lot of things you can do, but people actually have to get involved in making them do that. Usually, it's a hot button topic that gets them here. Other than that, they don't always pay attention.
Next question, Tom, if you're elected and we're sitting here 2 years from now, what would you hope has improved in Parachute?
Well, we got a lot of things in the fire. So here in the last couple of years, we just started a URA, Urban Renewal Authority, which is going to help us invest in the new projects in town. The Gateway Project is going to help start that process. And that is a board of the council, besides Commissioner Sampson's on it. And then there's a few other local boards that have a member on it as well. But it allows for property taxes to actually come in and help build the town on the new structures, which the town usually don't get a whole lot on property taxes. But this is a great way that hopefully we can help build some things. We've got a downtown plan that's probably about 50% complete. So I'd like to see that completed by then. So we're working on the finishing grant now to finish First Street. We've done a trails plan, so I'd like to see some things coming together for that. We've worked on Cottonwood Park with the Park and Rec District and the Parks Association. So I'd like to see that starting to take fruition. So there's a lot of things we've got our feet in the fire on. It would just be to see some of these things continue to move forward for the community.
I guess I would agree in part, just saying, seeing these plans that we already have in our view come to fruition. So just seeing that these grants are working for us and actually building up different areas of our town, creating new structures as well. But also, looking into like parks and rec, maybe some new trails, maybe some new areas that could be utilized, instead of just our regular Cottonwood Park. Although I love Cottonwood Park and making it better as it is, but just giving new trails, different things like that. In a couple of years' time, I would like to see that, I'm working smoothly with the council, that everything is, and it's not going to be perfect, but just making sure that whatever we say to the town is getting done for them to see directly. I feel like there's an issue a lot of the time in communication, and a lot of that comes with them, tuning in and seeing what we're doing. And like Tom said, a lot of them don't most of the time. A lot of them don't show up for a lot of the meetings and don't really know what we're up to. So I guess just making sure that whatever we're saying is going to get done, gets done for them to see it.
Turn to the council candidates. We'll begin with Artemio. How would you decide where town money should be spent?
So I definitely do believe in collaboration with our council and decision as well, and direction from mayor and town manager as well, just because they're always in the nitty-gritty and everything. So I think it's definitely is a team decision. And even when people don't agree, I think we as a council know that it's not what we want, but it's what's better for the town and what's going to make the town develop and what's going to make the town, be more, attract more people to come to us. And I think we've done it and beautifully with, loves, with just bringing in new housing as well for people to come to Parachute as well. So I think it's definitely a group decision to decide where the town money should go as well, just so we are not, like Tom said earlier, not just wasting money wherever, or putting money where it shouldn't be and everything. So I think definitely is a group decision, and where town and the vision of the town council wants to lead us.
Can you repeat the question?
Certainly. How would you decide where town money should be spent?
Well, when it comes to spending money, I believe strongly in essential services first. And that may be counterintuitive to some people where we've got all these other plans, but when it comes right down to it, it's going to be public safety, it's going to be infrastructure in order to keep the lights on, keep the toilets flushing, and keep the coffee in the coffee pots. The rest is just window dressing. So when it comes right down to it, essential services are going to take priority. And then as we as money allows and through grants and other things, we've got these other projects that have already been started. And I strongly support it because the public has been to public meetings. We know that the public wants these things. And as long as the funds are there, we're going to keep advancing and completing these projects and getting them checked off the list. But I would say essential services and public safety first. Thanks.
Next question, we'll start with David. The town needs to consider raising fees or utility rates. What factors would guide your decision?
First of all, do we have a rational nexus for doing it? Because we got to go to the public and they may not get their buy-in, but we have to be able to explain why the need is there. And it's not just that it seems like a good idea. We have to have all the facts behind it. We have to make it palatable so they understand it. And then when we roll it out, it's always best to roll it out in small pieces at a time, and not the big chunk at once, if at all possible. So they see it coming, they know it's coming, and then it comes at them gradually rather than all at once.
I definitely do agree with Tom. We recently just did that as well. And so it was just in increments that we did it instead of doing it all in one chunk. And so I definitely do believe in that transparency, that we tell our residents that, hey, this is gonna happen, but it's not just going to be a big lump sum that you're going to be doing it. It's going to be in parts just to also respect them in their everyday life and expenses that they have already just because of cost of living. Some people can't afford everything just all in once. And so I think the way we did it just a few years ago or 2 years ago was done very nicely, where we just do it in increments and we made the town aware. We made it, or the town residents aware of it, and we gave them public notice. We put it in our postcards. We put it everywhere so they can see. And so I think it was taken very well. So I think that's definitely just being transparent. And if they have questions, then they can come ask and everything about how we're doing it and why we're doing it as well.
Final question. Jamil, when new development or growth opportunities come to Parachute, what should council consider before approving them?
I think it definitely town council should consider how is it going to benefit us, and what's going to bring to the people here in Parachute as well. If it's like a small local business, like, I think it's definitely good that we bring them in, and then that way they can help, our economy grow as well, and not just kind of stay stagnant in one place. Let's see. So I think definitely just looking at how it's going to benefit us and the residents. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what I think. Yeah.
I would agree with that. I would think you have to put the concerns of the town first. How's it going to benefit the town? Is it part of the master plan? Is it part of what the community has directed us, either through public meetings or whatever, so that it fits with their vision as well as our vision? And I think unless you have that buy-in and that public direction, you're just asking for a whole bunch of conflict. So I think if we work together as a council and public, we've been talking about transparency, and transparency is always one of those great buzzwords, but sometimes, as Tom said, we talk to a vacant room in here. But we do try and through public meetings and things like that. I think the Facebook page is a wonderful thing, and people are using that. And I think we just need to keep working on how we can convey our message to the public and make sure everybody's informed and that we are moving forward with the public's best interest.
We'll now go to questions from mayor and council together. Let's start with Tom. What do you believe is the most important issue facing Parachute right now?
Well, I mean, you kind of asked that before, and that's funding. So we're a small town of, just under 1,500. We do have quite a bit of business for a town of 1,500. We have 20,000 cars that drive through on I-70 every day. So it's trying to get those cars off the interstate to spend some money in our town. Because like I said, sales taxes are our number one contributor. So it's getting the funds to where we can continue to move forward. People ask why we don't do this or that and this, and it's like, well, money don't grow on trees. So we rely heavily on grants, but even to get grants, you have to have some money in the bank to go out there and get them. So it's always funding, because we have a lot of plans and we have a lot of great things that we want to do for the community. But if we had the funds to do it all right now and keep everything, good for the community, safety wise and all that, it'd be great to do that. But unfortunately, we have to go out and generate them dollars. So that's the big one. I want to give Jerry Witt a knockout, because we had a conversation the other day, and I think Parachute needs to tell a story. So Kid Curry robbed the train right west of town, but a local boy, Raleigh Gardner, put a bullet through Kid Curry, and he was a local hero. And I think that needs to be told more. And I think we have an opportunity for Parachute to send that story, that a local ranch kid helped bring down the famous outlaw. So I think that's a story we need to kind of run with. Thank you.
Yeah, I do agree with the issue of funding, and more or less a trickle down from that is affordability. I think here it is becoming more and more unaffordable, as it is through the rest of the country, for people to get a house. I got out of the military and I'm living with my mother and father because it is really, really hard to find a house right now that is affordable for me to live in. I'm working as a academic coach at a high school in Rifle and simply don't make the money to be able to afford a house for myself, or let alone when my fiance is here and living with me. Um, but again, looking at how we can bring some kinds of money into our town, get things fluctuating a little bit more, is just inviting people to our town. I feel like, and like Tom said, a lot of people like to come by on the highway and finding out what kind of stuff makes them stop, whether it be the historicity of our city, the different historical events that have gone on here, whether it be the businesses and putting heavy investment into merchandising our businesses and making sure that people, or I guess what I would say, um, creating commercials for our businesses or just promotions of them that people want to come to our town, they want to stop there, they want to contribute to our local economy.
So I think we face a lot of challenges like many Western Slope small towns and everything. So I think one of the first ones is population growth, housing availability and affordability, and just economic shifts. I think that's at this we have to make sure that we take in consideration, how can we make housing more affordable and how do we bring in those projects here as well. And so I think we have done a great job at bringing in those resources and just trying to keep it at a max of cost of living and how are those units going to be used and what's the purpose for them. So I think just there's a lot of challenges that we have here, but I mean, I think we also have wonderful strengths as well that we can focus on. And if we plan accordingly and with collaboration, we can pretty much make this town better and just using the strengths of the natural beauty of Parachute.
I guess my biggest concern that I see in the near future is when the oil shale project started, it was in the 70s, late 70s. And so we're coming up on 50-year-old infrastructure. When they put it all in to support all the oil shale projects that were going, it was put in rather quickly. It was put in rather cheaply. And now that they're gone, it's still in the ground and still being used. And we need to start planning for replacement stuff. We heard a discussion today about the BMMD and the sewer plant over there, and we don't have a sewer plant. We send all our sewer across the river to the Battlement Mesa people, and they were talking about there's lots of that plant over there that has reached its 50-year maximum use, and they're going to be replacing a lot of stuff. Well, we may be in the same boat. I know the town's done a great job planning for water replacement, pumps, and all those kinds of things, and I think one of my biggest things, I think, is making sure that we're ahead of the curve and we don't get caught, with something unexpectedly going down. And I think the town's to be commended, that the staff for trying to keep up with that and planning ahead. But I see that as we're right on that the edge of the useful life of a lot of things. And before we can do the nice things, we got to make sure that we take care of the have to things.
This question, what is one realistic change the town could make in the next 2 years that would improve everyday life for residents?
One realistic change that I believe that could improve the lives of residents here is if we put a bigger dedication on transportation. I've noticed that public transportation is becoming an increasing issue in this valley, particularly with RAFTA planning to pull a few locations down the road from us. So if we could create something of like a transportation hub, something of a transit center in this town that people could, transmit to, whether they're going down to Junction or going upwards to Glenwood, or giving people here just that first stop before they go to either of those cities and making that more efficient for people. I feel like that's very good, not only for the youth that maybe don't have a car yet or aren't driving yet, but also for our elderly community.
One realistic change that I want to see is just how we can get more community involvement in our town council. So how can we promote, these meetings and how can we get more attendance? And I think, it comes just by advertising it and inviting people. And even honestly, some people come when there's food. So maybe just having some little snacks or something like here for the people, because I think it's a lot of community members don't come and don't see what we're doing. And it really does affect, it's like, what does the town think, residents think and everything. So I really do think I want to see more community involvement and engagement from everybody, just because we make decisions and then later on we see posts or things and then it's just like kind of some backlash. And I would want to see more, how can town council or just the town of Parachute change that to get more involvement?
Well, coming from a public safety position, I believe that we're way past due of having a secondary exit place for all of South Parachute. Once you pass the fire station, um, it's a one-way to everything south and west of that intersection. We get one car, big car wreck there. We get a wildfire there. Everybody's trapped in that part of town, and we're long overdue to coming up with a way to make that west interchange tie into Parachute. Unfortunately, it's going to take money. We know the guy who owns the property. We know that there could be a plan, but I think the bridge is the other thing. We're adding all this affordable housing up on the hill. We got another subdivision coming up on the hill, but we still have a 2-lane bridge across the Colorado River, and one accident in the wintertime dogs that whole thing up. So I see that our transportation plan and the safety plan is one of the things that we really need to take a good, strong look at.
Yeah, I would agree with everything said here actually, but I'd say in a couple of years is just moving forward with some of these plans we have with downtown, the trails plan, with the park plan. Levi brought up transportation. We started PATS a few years ago with the help of the commissioners, which has done a great service for the parachute battlement community. And it even included some stops in Rifle, and now Rifle has jumped on board with PATS. We're going to be teaming up with the downtowner, so that is expanding down in this area, which is really cool because transportation is a huge deal. There's a lot of people that don't have vehicles down here. So hopefully RAPTA continues to do what they do because at least we get people from this area up to Rifle. So it'd be nice to see RAPTA to continue to do that. We got to get services out to the West Interchange. It'd be nice to start working on plans to get that done. Also, we're going to have to work with the commissioners to get that second bridge over the interstate or over the river. And where do we do that? So moving forward, to make Parachute and battlement cohesive, we're going to have that, and that's going to take major dollars. And so there's a lot of things I'd like to see move forward, but it's just going to be what we can plan and what we can afford. So.
What would help residents feel more comfortable getting involved or sharing their input with the town?
I think just having open dialogue with leaders and just with the town council. If we have open dialogue and, a lot of people just want to be heard. And if we take their voices and we hear what they're trying to say, especially if they live here, then I feel like the community becomes a lot better. And then when community members feel heard and are involved, then I think they take a partnership in shaping Parachute's future. And then I think we can get further than we are now when they are involved, because we have them backing us up as well as council members. And I think, yeah, just like having that open dialogue with everybody here and just being able to talk to each other. And yeah, I think that would shape Parachute's future a lot more. And just because we have their backing as well.
I think a lot of it, I think we're doing a good job at currently. We have the plan jam, we have all these other public meetings where the public's invited, and the Monday marketplace is another good example where people come to, and staff is always down there, and they're always asking people, so what do you think? And getting public input and asking for public input. I think the town cleanup is another good time where people come together and and visit, and you can ask them, you know, what are their concerns? I think the like I said earlier, the Facebook thing. I don't do Facebook, but I know a lot of people do it, and a lot of people respond to it. People just don't have the time to do the face-to-face stuff anymore. But if they have an outlet and they know that somebody's watching that, and the lady that does the Facebook stuff is great at what she does, and I think that gives people an avenue to be heard. So.
Yeah, I agree with Chief. We got Plan Jam coming up on the 31st of this month, so I invite the whole community to come out and participate in that, because we are going to be asking for the downtown final plans, you know, so having that input is going to be great. I agree that the Monday Market has been great. We've actually had some events with Monday Market to get community input on things. So if you want to have a say-so in what the town looks like, it's good to come to those events. Same with Grand Valley Days, I forget the garbage days, and we're also,
Cleanup.
yeah, we're also going to have the partnership with D16 with Mayfest. So there's lots of things that the town gets involved in, and so the staff does a great job. We put in a water sprinkler park, and that came from interviewing kids at the schools. So we've had surveys and that's went to the schools. We have surveys that go out through the phone and through Facebook and all those, that we've gotten a lot of great ideas. So it's just, you know, utilizing all those tools out there and listening to your community. So, and I think we've done a great job, and I assume that's going to continue to happen.
Yeah, I kind of agree with everything that's been said here. I think it boils down to availability. How available are we to our community? And how open are we to open discourse with people, and making sure that as many events as we could ever have, that we're all there and present, and that we're willing to talk to people about issues that our town is having, that they feel comfortable talking to us about issues they might be having in the town. And if it's an issue of, you know, obviously people are invited to our town council meetings. Well, if we're having an issue of them not showing up there, just making sure we're doing our due diligence in our free time, talking to our community, getting involved and knowing what's wrong, so that we can bring those concerns to the council whenever we have those meetings.
Move on to, we're going to invite the audience. Anyone wishes to ask a question to candidates, welcome to do so. You can step up to the podium. And again, limit your questions, keep it short to the point. State your name and
Yes, and
Yeah.
then who it's question.
yeah, who you're asking the question addressing the question to. Candidates have 2 minutes to respond. Again, be respectful, issue focused, and floor is open. Anyone wish to step up?
Hey, Tom, nice to see you.
I see.
And I would love to ask a question for both Tom and Levi, if
Yeah.
that's all right.
Mhm.
My name's Kim. I live in Parachute for 10 years and it's been great. So I'd love to hear your perspective on the town of Silt's transportation proposal for the lower valley.
Is that out now? So that was actually discussed at the mayor's meeting right here in these chambers here a few weeks ago. I don't know exactly a lot of that proposal. I know they were looking to do some things to help keep RAFTA and the Hogbout route open, which I hope that happens. I do kind of worry that if Rifle and the county has to put some more money towards RAFTA, that maybe some of the funds we're getting for PATS might be taken away. So that's kind of my worry. And since I got Commissioner here in the audience tonight, I hope he hears that, because we depend a lot on the commissioners for PATS, and PATS does a great job. It runs Monday through Friday and runs all day long. I believe when RAFTA put their proposal up, it was a 1 bus in the morning and 1 bus at night for almost 3 times the money from what we're doing PATS for. I'm hoping that as PATS grows, we can get some more money from maybe Grand River, from CMC, so they see a benefit to it. And when we're teaming up here with the downtowner, that's going to allow some of these folks who need to go grocery shopping to just call call and the bus will come pick them up, take them to grocery shopping and bring them back home. So it's going to be a service that way, take them to the doctor and come back home. So I don't know 100% of what this proposal is, but a lot of it is to keep that hogback route open. And I'm more worried right now about keeping Pat's operating because it does a vital service for Battlement Mesa and Parachute and even Rifle. So Rifle, I believe, put, was it 60,000? 75,000 into the kitty for Pat's because they see the benefit of what Pat's is doing for them. So thank you.
Yeah, I guess to that, Kim, I agree with Tom. They're trying to keep their hogback route open. I agree with that. I don't really know way too much when it comes to that proposal. Kind of new to me. I haven't looked into that very much, but I can look into that and provide you the answer you're looking for if you give me some of your information after this.
I can maybe fill in some blanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of tabled the issue for now, maybe perhaps until the next meeting. There was some lively conversation with Library Director Jamie LaRue and some others regarding the proposal. And I think Town Manager Jim Mann was kind of spitballing, hey, let's think of this, a way to maybe redirect some of this sales tax money and get some feathers, understandably. And so for the time being, it has been tabled by the town. So that's where that sits.
All right.
Anyone else from the audience?
Speak now or forever hold your peace. Hey, Judy.
I guess I'll address my question to to all four of them. How do you see Parachute and Battlement Mesa working together on things in our community?
Thanks, Judy. Miss Judy Hayward. She was an ex-council member as well. So, and are you in charge of the Historical Society?
I'm president of the Historical Society.
So yeah, she's the one in charge. So, great question. Thanks, Judy. Was I supposed to go first? I'm sorry. Okay. So there's always kind of been some contention going back 100 years ago between the Mesa and down here, and it was one-time cattle and sheep ranchers, and so that's why we have a cemetery up there and a cemetery down here. But I see over the last few years that the contention has waned a lot. I think both communities know we have to rely on each other. I know Loves might be a contention for some people that live over in Battlement because it causes some traffic issues at times. But I see us working together. At some point in time, we're probably going to be one community. And I know the commissioners want that at some point. But again, that takes a lot of money for the little town of Parachute to take over. I think it's around 7,000 people, pretty close. So that would be a huge expense to take over. But, you know, we have a fire district, a water district, the sewer, the school district that all encompasses us all. So there's a lot of things that bring us together. When it comes to the political side, I think at some point we're going to be one community, and what we're called at that point, who knows? I don't know if I'll be around to see it. But you know, Amazon has changed that a little bit because they generate a lot of sales tax. So that might be a way to generate some of the funds that would be needed for Parachute and Battlement to combine. But I see the communities come together and working very well in the future. So
yeah, I share the same vision. Just hoping that the two communities can eventually become one thing, and that it's not they have their stuff and we have ours. But you know, if we're already sharing so much, obviously they've got two of the school. Well, they've got two schools. We've got two schools. You know, if you grow up here, you go to school up in Battlement, you go to school down in Parachute, and you don't really see them as anything different. So I guess where it's any different just comes down to legality, you know, and politics. But yeah, I think we're already working together really well, but just making sure that, you know, people from Battlement are involved and that they're down in our community events and that they're partaking in the different events that we got going on around Parachute.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I was like when I first moved here around like when I was 13, 14, I thought it was just parachute. I thought it was just one town and everything. And so, I mean, to me, it's just one town. You know, you have to go through parachute to get to Battlement Mesa. So, I mean, I was like, when I lived up in Battlement, I was like, oh, where do you live? I live in Parachute. I was like, oh, what part of Parachute? Oh, up the hill. And so I think it's just, to me, it's just one town, just different. I guess they have their own board, we have our own, and some legality stuff that they do different. And, you know, I wish we could work cohesively together, and that way we could just prosper as a community and as a town as well. So I think to me, it's just one, but I know that it's separate with things. But I mean, my belief, we're just one. I mean, we're just one community. So because they partake in our stuff and we partake in the things that they do as well.
I see the future looking a whole lot brighter than the past. When we first moved here during the oil shale days, it wasn't so much throwing sand at each other. We didn't identify each other's sandbox. And over the years, I think the animosity between the two groups has changed dynamics significantly. We are working together on more projects. We do see the benefit of working together and more of the groups. We are sharing sand and not throwing sand at each other. And I think it's just going to get better. I think the people that are running both the BMSA, the BMMD, and the town here, I see huge changes, and I see a lot more working together and collaboration between the two groups rather than the silos of the past. So I think it's going to get better. I don't see that we're going to take over Battlement Mesa in the near future. And I think a lot of people understand that in order for that to happen, it's going to take a lot of money because property tax that we would garner from up on the hill would not cover the infrastructure for the town of Parachute to take that over. So it's gonna have to be a whole lot of other stuff that's gonna happen. But I think people see the value in working together and how we as a community are one community. We just have two different forms of government. And I think the Battlement people are finally understanding that the BMSA still has to answer to the county commissioners. So that kind of rubs a little bit raw some people up on the hill, but I think that we're working together much better than we ever have in the past, and I think it's only going to get better.
Anyone else from the audience? Question for the mayor, mayoral candidates?
Yes, I'm not a resident of Parachute, but can I ask a question?
I'll just state your name, please.
Mike Sampson, Garfield County Commissioner, District 3, which Parachute and Battlement Mesa are definitely a big part of District 3. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for running. Thank you for having the initiative to be part of the governing of Parachute. All of you did well in my estimation, and I think whoever loses is not the victor in the mayor's race. I hope you are selected to be on the council because both of you very well spoken, both of you, and as well as you too. You are very fortunate, Travis, to have good people on your council. My question for you is kind of self-serving a little bit, obviously as a county commissioner. I would ask you, what do you see if you're elected, and obviously you two will, hopefully you would both will serve. What do you see that we as county commissioners can do to help the town of Parachute? What would be something realistic? Yeah, just give us $10 million. More. What do you, how do you want to foster a better relationship with us? And what do you see as probably the number one thing where the county, i.e. the county commissioners, could help you as the town of Parachute? Thank you.
Let someone else go first since I went first last time.
I'll go ahead and go. What I see is, like I said before, that bridge in the west Parachute interchange connect to the south Parachute. I think those are two high priority things, and I don't think we're going to get the money from the county, and everybody knows it. But if we can get you know, the letters of support, maybe matching dollars or whatever it takes, you know, as a group, maybe we can make that happen. The other thing I think that, I think the county commissioners are fully supportive of oil and gas on this side of the mountain. And I think, that's still a major player with the town of Parachute and will be in hopefully, you know, in the near future, and it's going to come back, hopefully. But, I think the county is doing an excellent job in supporting all the towns. We used to feel like, you know, the town was kind of the, you know, the rear end of the pig, you know, that, when it came to doling out money and getting taken care of, because we were the small end and we were, the west end of the county. And for years I've said Parachute's in the middle of Garfield County. The west end is Douglas Pass. So why do we keep calling Parachute the west end of the county? But I think since this last, you know, since, man, I'll say it, since Mike Sampson's got onto the county commissioners, Parachute has become a real town and has been taken care of. And I think the county does an excellent job of making sure that when they can and where they can, that they do help out. And I would like to see the FMLD program, which the town and some of the special districts in this town have benefited hugely from. And the county has always been very supportive of projects down at this end.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Art.
I just want to say thank you. I know you guys have been a great support for us and even just funding PATS, and I would like to see that continue. Just providing that funds to us as well to keep the system running and just to ensure that our residents can get from point A to point B so they can get to point C, because a lot of our residents use, you know, PATS to get to Glenwood and beyond. So, I mean, I would just like to see the continuous support for PATS and just to ensure that we keep that system running and everything. So.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what's already been said. Obviously a bigger bridge project is kind of far off. That's pretty dang expensive, but in terms of PATS, it seems to be a pretty great system operating super well. Eager to see what kind of improvements we can make with that going forward, and I guess how far we could reach with that on either end. But thank you, sir, for all that you've done.
Yeah, thanks, Mike, and your board partners out of Garfield County. I mean, you guys have done a lot, and I agree with the chief that the FMLD has sent a lot of cash throughout the whole county. I believe it's close to 40 million now that over 40 million that you've given out in grants. So if you've not paid attention to the FMLD, do that, because it does a lot for the county, and all those funds come from oil and gas. So it's a big part of this county. And I truly believe, you know, for us moving forward, we're one of the communities that have room to grow. And I think we have the ability to grow. And that's just, you know, you guys are going to help be a part of that. But, you know, and hopefully that with what we've done in the past and we continue to do things right in the future, you continue to be a big part in the future as well. So, you know, there's going to be some big projects that we're going to need your support on, whether that's letters of support or, you know, FMLD grants or, you know, other grants. It'll just be great to have that support. So it's getting infrastructure out to the west interchange, the bridge, maybe another bridge across the battlement to make that more cohesive for everybody. There's just a lot of things that moving forward we could sit and talk about, but I think we're a community that's got some places to grow, and I think you guys realize that too. So the growth for the county is going to be more on this end because we have the land to grow into, where some of those eastern towns in the county don't have the land that we do. So but I thank you for all you've done and look forward to working with you in the future too. So.
What else in the audience?
I'm Sherry Kashar. We moved here about 2018, and I'd like to just say thank you for the water park. I have a young grandson who just loves it. And I'd also like to thank you for buying the place where the senior center is. That's what I came to say. Thank you. Oh, and thank you very much for this chance to hear from you all, because I don't know any of you, so thank you.
Thank you for being here. And thank Mr. Sampson too for the senior center as well. They were a huge part of that as well. So.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to closing comments, closing statements, and let's begin with Artemio, 90 seconds.
So thank you. I mean, it's, I think it's gonna be a tough, race between Dave and I, to see who gets elected, but, just want to say just thank you for being here and taking part of this. And, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to still sitting on town council and trying to get and make Parachute a better place to live. We've always been wanting a grocery store since I've been on here. So, we're going to hopefully keep pushing for a grocery store, and I just want to ensure that we promote our local businesses and small businesses, and we take care of our people as well. I mean, I am very proud to live in Parachute, and I look forward to continuing to stay on council, either in a capacity of town council or, who knows, in the future, maybe run for mayor or something, just so we can ensure that people stay connected and, feel valued as well.
Well, again, I'd like to thank everybody for being here as well. It was, it's kind of tough for Artemio and myself. We're already, going to keep our positions next year, but we both felt it was important to be here tonight so that we can meet the community can meet us. There's a lot of great things that are going on in this community, and I'm proud to be part of it. And I look forward to the next 4 years being part of it. And, unlike Artemio, I'd have no aspirations of being mayor in the future. I'm just glad that I can be part of being on town council.
You'll always be chief, but.
Yes, he's chief.
Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. Thank you, Chamber, for putting on this, Ron for moderating it, Travis for hosting. I appreciate that as well. But we got a lot of things going on as a town, and a lot of that's due to staff. I've actually had the pleasure of getting to be a part of 2 town administrator hires. And it's quite the process, and it's scary because when you're losing a town administrator, that's the guy who makes the town run. And he's managing every aspect of the town. And we've been blessed to have a couple of really good ones in Stuart and now Travis. And they have a great vision, and through the council and all that, we have a way of getting that vision out and getting input on that vision. So there's a lot of great things, and I see it still going forward, whether I'm mayor or on council, or if they kick me clear to the curb and retire me, I see great things for this community. So, I don't see where this town's going to fail when we have the people that have stepped forward and worked. So I just look forward, hopefully as mayor or council member, going forward the next 4 years, and I'll get to 20 and then I'll decide what I'm going to do after that. But I just look forward to the next 4 years and seeing this town continue to grow and get better.
Yeah, so I guess I'd like to just say thank you for everybody being here, for giving me a chance to speak and people here get to know me a little bit and us. I have a lot of aspirations for this town. I might not be as well-spoken as some of the other candidates here. This would be my first time running for any form of local government. But I will say that should I get that office, or should I end up in the council, I see a lot of improvement in Parachute's future. And yeah.
Thanks. Well, many thanks to the candidates. Thank you for your willingness to serve this community. Thank the County Chamber of Commerce putting us on for the town of Parachute, Travis, and thanks to the audience, the participation, and the good questions. It's always important to that dialogue. That's critical. So remember that election day is April 7th.
Yes. And is it in person or is it all mail?
It's mail.
Right.
Those get mailed out the week of March 16th. But you can always vote in person the day of here, April 7th.
Okay.
So.
Vote early, vote often.
Thank you very much for participating. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, yes.
Leave I have now. May it be.